Welcome to Generational Differences with Beckham and Brett. Like if a clown just showed up at your front door.
Well, then it would be, first of all, horrifying because if it showed up at my door randomly, I'd think it would be a serial killer just hiding. But
What if
if
it was
I am
Ronald McDonald and Grimace and the Hamburglar?
the Hamburglar is a thief. If he showed up with a Hamburglar, that wouldn't make Ronald's decision. Either way, but if I paid for a clown for them to show and they had a specific timing and all that stuff, then I think they'd be fun.
What if you just ran into a clown in a park?
Then that's fine. They're just doing their job of making people happy.
So you don't get creeped out by them.
I don't if they're blowing bubbles and not making any responses and making little jokes.
Not making you feel weird.
Yeah, but if they're doing stuff weird, that's where I get heebie-jeebied.
So we're still up here in Washington.
Yes.
And my hair's doing all sorts of weird stuff with the weird background here, huh?
Guess what? No one's gonna see it either way.
They won't, will they? So we finished up our raft trip. How would you rate the raft trip?
Well, on the first day there was a massive thunderstorm that was actually showing the bolts of lightning. They were really close.
Yep.
It also started raining, but it was warm, which arguably is better than cold, but to my standards, feels like someone's taking a warm pee on you.
Gross.
I'm not
You
joking.
felt like it was so. No,
What?
that's gross. Yeah, I suppose. So, yeah, so we got that thunderstorm the first day, and then it destroyed all of our like sunshade awnings, right?
Yeah.
And it almost made your aunt almost took off like what's her name in the Wizard of Oz, right? She was gonna fly into the land of Oz.
Yeah. Also, the dog is twirling.
Dorothy. She's gonna fly off like Dorothy into the land of Oz.
Yeah, I think I could relatably see her be flying off into Oz and just being like, "Oh man."
Yeah. No,
I'm tripping.
She said that her feet started picking up off the ground, so she had to let go of the awning because she was gonna go with it wherever it was headed. Luckily, they didn't. They didn't fly too fast. It was like they went and just landed halfway down the beach. So, but we were out of awnings for a day.
Yeah, and you forgot to pack me shirts.
I did. I packed you a sweatshirt for at night, but yeah, I didn't pack you. And I packed you a swim shirt, but I didn't pack you any shirts. I didn't forget to do anything. You refused to pack for the trip. So I just threw whatever I could in your boat bag or in your dry bag.
True. That's
Right.
the loudest true I've ever said. It's like with a monotone voice. It like we can actually see how like loud it is with the decibel counter.
Yep.
And oh man, it got to the red, which is
Almost.
basically when you should stop and start being quiet.
You were just talking into it like really loud into your mic and like true.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and sounds like a Halo Reach server Xbox Live.
So one topic that we've been revisiting like every week, I think, is the tariffs, right? Because tariffs are scary.
Oh yes.
And then you and I talked about this. You know, that the tariffs will slow down the economy. And how tariffs actually work. Do you want to remind everyone how tariffs work?
Yeah, tariffs are basically taxes for importing goods from other countries, which then people won't want to buy the goods from other countries. So that shirt that you made in China that wasn't as pricey that it was a week ago, that isn't just from inflation in America. No, that's tariffs from because they're taxing the people that ship it. So now it kind of sucks.
So the economy started slowing down, and the downstream effects of it, um, because our economy started slowing down because of the tariffs, then companies, because the companies aren't making as much money, like U.S. companies aren't making as much money, the hiring slows down, and so we had some, you know, pretty poor job numbers that came out. So yeah, when America's economy slows down, people are, stuff gets more expensive because of imports. Then people buy less stuff, which means that American companies that sell the stuff make less money, which means they have less money to hire more folks. And so like if they're projecting that they're gonna, business is gonna be slow over the next 6 to 8 months, then they stop hiring people.
Yeah.
Which when they went back I think what is it, every three, like after 2 months they can go back and readjust like the job numbers. The job numbers you get are just projections, and so when they went and readjusted them, they were not very good.
Ah. So basically, when they readjusted the numbers sucked so bad that they could barely get back up.
Wasn't that they suck so bad, it was just that it's a reflection of the economy, and so it just means that the economy's not doing well, and the president didn't like that answer, and so um, he let the person that that heads the agency that does the numbers basically like fired.
So you fired the one person that basically controls a lot of jobs in America.
No, they don't control jobs at all. They what the person does is they do a projection, and
Oh,
projections are not politically motivated. It's just like basically making a statement. But
there
they
are
do
less
they
people.
do give people like those numbers affect the stock market. Those numbers also affect like how willing people are to spend, or even like look for other jobs and move out of their job. Like if we aren't hiring a lot of folks, and a lot of folks are like, oh, I'm not going to look for another job because there's not many out there or whatever. So yeah, it's generally not politically motivated. You know, doing a bad like giving bad jobs reports doesn't help anybody out. Um, it it honestly, like, I mean, nobody wants the economy to tank. So yeah, this is what it
Yeah, but
is.
Trump doesn't care because he's ultra wealthy, so it won't actually affect him.
I I don't know if that's the case. He did care very much. He fired the person that gave the bad numbers, but I don't know that it's a great job. It's never in your best interest, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, to shoot the messenger, the person that's giving, bad news. So
It's like the people in the when the Black Plague happened, they were like, Messenger was like, yeah, a bunch of these people like are dying from this unknown disease, and they didn't know that what diseases were. So they're like, you're lying, and you're trying to get a good, and you're trying to get give these charms, which he didn't also know that, charms didn't work,
yeah,
and but it wasn't his fault, because he was also the messenger. So when he kind of told to it, a lot of the cities that got told kind of were provoked and started throwing their farm shovels and stuff at the person.
yep. All right. Well, we're kind of caught up on current world news. What I was going to ask you, I'm going to ask you some debate topics, and just to see what your take is on all of these as a 10-year-old. And so this is going to be me asking you questions and what you think and whether we should do it or we shouldn't do it. And then you need to tell me why.
So it's the Q&A thing that
It,
we
it's
sometimes
sort of
do.
like Q&A, but it's less funny stuff. We'll probably throw some funny things in there, but for the most part, we're gonna ask like some things that have been debated in the past, and what you think on them. Are you ready?
Stop saying that. I've heard that phrase so many times that I have snapped.
Okay.
But seriously, let's get into it.
You don't want me to start singing it? Are you ready?
It's am I ready?
Are you ready? Okay. Question number one. Do you think that everyone should have a universal basic income. Do you know what that is?
Yes, I know what an income is. It's
No,
basically
universal basic income.
universal basic income. It's basically like minimum wage,
Sort of. Uh,
but like you get it whenever.
yeah. So basically, everybody would receive like we'll just throw a random number out there. Like every person, every United States citizen would receive like $100 a month or $800 a month.
No,
You don't think so?
I don't think so because I swear, one, they won't be motivated to do work to help the economy, and two, some people might spend it on drugs.
Well, that could happen, you know. But the thought behind it is
It's good because, you
well,
know, they can buy food.
$800 a month is like that's not going to be enough to keep you in a house, right? So you would still have to work, you know, but it
Yeah,
would cover, but you would have, but the people who had it, and universal basic income basically means that like, at some point you probably wouldn't get a basic income. Like let's say at the threshold, like your family makes $70,000 a year, you don't get the universal basic income. So not everybody would get it. It would just be people under a certain threshold, and it likely wouldn't be. I think they did a pilot project where everyone got like $600 to $800 a month, like in Oakland or something like that. That
When
was
did this happen?
I don't remember. It's either still going on or it just happened.
Okay. But um don't you also it doesn't matter if you also cuz there's also you also have to pay for your debit card. I mean, it's kind of like a bank situation of where you pay for the bank to store your money, but for this, you pay for the debit card to store your money that you own. You just have to keep it by, the debit card by the no, you don't get money. It's not like a loan, but it is something of which you have to pay for so that you don't have a bunch of cash in your pocket. So it's easy.
Hmm.
Think
So you overall you
so
don't
it
think there should be a universal basic income, or you do?
I
Yeah.
do not think that a universal basic
You
income
think
would
that, and the thought behind it is like one that's not going to get it's not enough for them to provide them housing. It's just if you have a stressful month where you need food and you need to be able to buy food or basic toiletries and stuff like that, that it's enough for you to pay for those things.
then it's
But it's not enough for you to become reliant on it to where you don't have to work.
and this is the part of where I'm like, okay, but if it's a universal income of where you have to get it, I
Yes.
don't like it. If you're a functional person, you don't get it. If you are a person that does not function, but you can totally function to every standard possible, you get a job. I'm not going to pay you disability if you have a job. For people that actually need disability, like people that actually need support,
Mm-hmm.
give it to you. But if you just have like people that are autistic can work as a barista just fine. They won't have a mental breakdown while serving somebody their morning espresso, if that's the case. So if you can do that, I'm totally fine.
Mm.
N- Go do it yourself. But if you can not do it, I'll pay you money. That's what I think it should be. Because if you can do something, go do it. Don't waste your life on something. It's kind of like a pep talk, but kind of more back behind it.
Okay. All right. Well, while we're on the topic, which is an interesting topic, it shows that you're kind of more centrist because more left folks would say that everyone should have a universal basic income, or a lot of
No.
them will say that, and they make the argument that if they can take care of their basic needs, that they'll go out and get a job. But I think it's interesting, and it's like this is good. It's great that that you have everyone's got their own opinions, And
But it's also
not
called
everything's black and
disability
white.
for a reason.
No,
It's
yeah.
called a disability income for a reason. If you if you are disabled but not so disabled that you cannot get a job, you will not get disability. So there can be a test, an oral test for grown-ups for 18 to 21-year-olds in
Hmm.
that span and see if they get a job or they need disability. That's how
What do
I
you
would.
think? So we're gonna stay on the topic of universal stuff. How about universal health care? Meaning
Universal
that
health.
everyone gets health care and it costs you little to nothing for universal health
I
for to
think
get.
nothing is a little bit too extreme, but I think having like it it ranging is something. So if like this person is actually like needing help, like he's about to die, he doesn't just um yeah, he has to pay, but it's gonna be a lot less than like he'll be broke after you save their life. Or if you're disabled and you really need help because you actually need the health care and
Yeah.
but you still need to pay. It just gets smaller or bigger for your health care. So if you are so if it's not that good, if it's not that bad and it's just kind of like a really bad scratch on your arm that you might need a stitch for, I'd say about $300, like or even
Yeah.
200. I mean, it's that kind of thing that I augment like how bad is it? Okay. And if you really need help, I just don't want you to be so broke that you can't get out of it. And yeah, that's how it works. That's how I should it should work.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Um, I mean, that's the problem now is so like there are places like Canada where it doesn't really cost you anything. Um, the same with like England, Great Britain. They have universal health care. So it basically allows people to spend more money on like they get taxed more, but everyone kind of bears the cost for healthcare
Yes.
at that point.
Everyone bears it, but like to actually what should be there and what's actually like okay, yeah, that's a little in range.
Yeah.
So what I would say is that if you're about to die, like you actually need help, it'll cost less. But if it's a little scratch that you could probably fix it up yourself, it's kind of like it teach you to like, hey, so like if you really need it, just like
Well,
go to
and
your
also,
you don't go to the emergency room
yeah.
for like
So I
something
guess
that
the bigger question is, do you think that healthcare should be government run or should it be private? Right now, healthcare is privatized in the U.S., but a lot of other places it's run by the government. So what you're saying, are you saying that you would rather that it's run by the government, but if it's something pretty big, then they should be able to, then they should have to pay something extra out of pocket?
I'm saying that if it's really big, like really big, and that you really need it, it'll cost less. So you don't like, so that you're not in a dead zone of where after you're treated, you won't be able to pay for anything any else.
So you
That's
don't
the
want it
kind of.
some you don't want it to you want it to be a sliding scale based on a percentage of income, is that what you're saying?
Can I continue talking and
Yes, you
explain it?
can.
Because like thing is that the more you need it, like if you really need to amputate an arm because um the gangrene is coming up your arm and it might kill you, yeah, it'll cost a lot less to amputate the arm and get health care for the arm that you lost. But for something that's a little scratch or like, something that you need to stitch, you don't go to the emergency room. You go to you go to like, the place of where you get stitched that's local, the little store that helps you get the vaccines and stuff. You don't go big and like get it super treated because then it'll get too that's the kind of thing of what I
So
think
let
it
me
should
ask you
be.
another question. Let's go back and circle back around on the arm question. So let's say it costs $5,000 to amputate the arm, but it costs $50,000 to save the arm. and it's universal health care, so it's going to cost that much money. Like, what would you do in that case? Because you're
Well, here,
saying like, because there's two options there, and there's one that's actually far more expensive than the other one, and also the person loses their arm. But if you could restore total functionality to that arm and save it, but it costs 50,000 instead of 5,000, what's
I mean, like something that's life or death that you can,
well, it
that
is
like
life or death. If you get gangrene,
it is life or death. I'd say for that's basically how it should work. Bro, just let it go. You'll still be able to function with the one arm, so just like
you think they should just cut their arm off, even if they could save it.
I mean, I'd just let them do it. Like, okay, so you want to 10 times the money just to save your arm? Okay, then you do that. But so they save the arm, but
So
they get
you
less
think
money.
that people should have to pay? Do you
Hand
think?
raise, hand raise, hand raise, because I do not like interruptions.
Okay.
Like I'm really getting it. Okay. So basically what I mean is that if somebody's having a major heart attack, like they're about to die, a lot of the times after they get it treated, they get blasted with with a payment in that they did not know that was coming because they didn't know that they were about to die. So that's where I'm like, okay, so you make it a little bit lower because it's kind of like a life or death situation. And
Uh, so the better question, like the question that I'm asking, you think that we should reduce costs of healthcare.
yeah, if it's
So,
life or death,
well,
doesn't
I mean, life or death is one of those things where, obesity could be considered a life or death, right? If you have chronic obesity, it's going to cause all sorts of heart issues, all sorts of other stuff. So you technically could say that
I
that.
mean like if I mean like when the life or death, I mean like you could be dying if you don't get this treated now.
So
Now go
you
to the hospice.
so you think catastrophic stuff like cancer or heart
Yes, like an
attacks,
untreated cancer and they just fell over from the brain cancer that they
yeah,
really need help for, like now.
you don't think that that should bankrupt somebody is what you're saying.
Yes.
But you still think that people should have to pay something.
Yes.
What if people were just paying, what if you got taxed 10% more and then you didn't have to pay anything?
I didn't mean it like that. I meant like a dollar. Like
Right.
I meant like say if something costs $1 and it's not very and it's like and a person only has $2.
No.
Now in this world, everything is based off of cents. So a dollar is actually probably $1,000 would be better. So if somebody has $1,000, but the treatment will be $1,000, then the people will be scared to treat the situation that they might die right there and now on because then they'll be like, I can't treat
So you don't
myself
think
because
that
I'm
people
gonna
should
run out of money and it's gonna be
skip
a slow
healthcare
death.
issues? So you don't think that people should skip healthcare issues because it costs too much money?
Yes, I don't think that should be the case. So that's what I'm meaning, like to implicate like you still have to pay money, but
Hmm.
there'll be a discount because of the life or death situation you were in. So that's what I mean.
So, but yeah, and the thought behind universal healthcare is that everybody pays a flat tax rate of like let's say 10% of your income, and then healthcare doesn't cost you anything. And so,
I think healthcare should cost you something.
well, do you feel like your health should be a basic right? Like food, water, like do you feel like people, and this is a better question, do you think everyone deserves a basic right to have food, water, a roof over their health, and access to health care? Or do you think people should have to work to earn that stuff?
All right, let's list some stuff off. First of all, let's go for healthcare. Did you know that people even when they didn't get the sense of actual currency, they still traded for stuff and they still had to work to get the stuff to trade. This is basically the situation that they should be in. So if they need, say, a specific herb that has been shown to help, say, they need peppers for their food because peppers is good for like the for your immune system. And they have to get something that the other person wants to, get. That's what I'm thinking. It's that, and even then, water has also been something that we've traded over in route. We've also had to trade for water at times too, and same for food. So I do not think that a lot of people will get me on this, and they will scold me. But I don't think it shouldn't. It should be universal. It's only at dire times when it becomes universal.
Do you think so? Like people who don't, and going back on healthcare, if people didn't have to worry about, let's say, if people didn't have to worry about food and shelter or their health, do you think they would be more willing to work and contribute to the society and like try to buy stuff for themselves and like make a better life for themselves? Or better yet, let's just say, let's not even say that. If people didn't have to worry about their health care, like it wouldn't cost them anything, and all they had to do, and so they didn't have to worry about it, do you think that that would make them more willing to work to then like make a better life for themselves?
Um. All right. So people can be greedy and selfish at times, even the best people. So I'm not gonna. So I'm not. So I don't have much faith in humanity for them to give back of what they take.
So you think that the average person is going to take more than they make?
Yes. Hey, take more than they make. I think we made a rhyme.
But the serious question, you think, I mean, the our economy wouldn't work at all though right now if we had people, like if everyone just didn't do anything, then our economy wouldn't work at all, right? Like the way that it works now.
Exactly. And that's what I think we should not avoid. For people that think that way, that are augmented that way, I feel like we're gonna have to have the tables turn a bit so that they have to work.
Well, I will respectfully disagree with you on both of these universal topics. I think that we should have universal health care, and I think that we should have, for some folks, have a universal basic income.
That's why I said that people with actual needed disabilities would get the money.
No, I think
I
you've had
said that.
I think you've had very thoughtful. I think your responses are thoughtful, and you're entitled to your own decision. So I think they've been really good. Serious question: are clowns scary or funny?
What? Okay, it's talking about what kind of clown we're saying. If you're talking about
Clowns in
serial kill,
general, like if a clown just showed up at your front door.
well, then it would be, first of all, horrifying because if it showed up at my door randomly, I'd think it would be a serial killer just hiding. But
What if
if
it was
I am
Ronald McDonald and Grimace and the Hamburglar?
the Hamburglar is a thief. If he showed up with a Hamburglar, that wouldn't make Ronald's decision. Either way, I. But if I paid for a clown for them to show and they had a specific timing and all that stuff, then I think they'd be fun.
What if you just ran into a clown in a park?
Then that's fine. They're just be doing their job of making people happy.
So you don't get creeped out by them.
I don't if they're blowing bubbles and not making any responses and making little jokes.
Not making you feel weird.
Yeah, but if they're doing stuff weird, that's where I get heebie-jeebied.
So, another serious question: should kids have to go to school on their birthday?
Depends if it's if today's an oral test or not, or the pacer test. The pacergram.
What if they? What if it? What if the pacer test? What if you're? That's another good topic, though. Is like, should we have standardized testing in schools?
Yes.
So what if you're doing the pacer test? Do you think you should go?
Wait,
Or
what do
should
you mean?
just take it on a different day if it's the same day as your birthday?
No, because that would also interrupt multiple schedules. Just because it's one person's birthday, it does not mean it ruins the entire schedule of the day. If someone has to take an oral test, that could also interrupt another class's schedule. So I'd say that guess what? You can have free your birthday is almost the same. You just celebrate it after school.
What if somebody's birthday is always the same day as the pacer and they just don't get to celebrate it, but everyone else does?
Well, guess what? The pacergram still fits right in with the day with the model of the day. They just have to kind of warp it a bit. They don't stretch it out longer. They just take it into consideration and
So
see
you're
what
saying they would just get their day off on a different day?
no, you don't. I'm saying that they would celebrate their day on the same day, but they wouldn't get a day off. No, they just got a little cake when they got home.
Everybody else who doesn't have their birthday on the pacer does get their birthday off.
No,
Nobody gets the day off.
nobody gets the day off.
So you don't think
Not
that anyone should get their
anytime.
day off for their birthday?
Because guess what? There's something being taught every single day. So if you miss something, you won't be taught as well or even at all at the subject.
Hmm.
And I can't believe I'm saying this as a child.
I know. It's kind of weird. Uh,
Children will hate me for this.
should people be able to wear pajamas in public, Beckham?
People can do that, but they'll just get weird side eyes.
I don't think they do. There's all sorts of people, like women wear like essentially their pajamas, like pajama pants, out in public, and men. It's very common to see people in pajama pants and Crocs.
I can validate with that with one of my classmates wearing pajama pants almost every single day. Like it's the exact same pants.
So what's your thought
It's
on that?
it's like are they wearing the same one every day?
Well, let's say they change them. Is it just acceptable to wear pajamas in public, like when you're out and about?
If they're changing them, it's fine. But you know, having you not change, that gets unsanitary and kind of gross without washing them too.
So, do you think people should have to get dressed and wear shorts or jeans or something like that?
Work meetings and
No, I mean just in general, is it like acceptable to just go out in your PJs?
it's fine with that. Just wear PJs whenever you want, wherever you want.
But you
Because
were
guess
gonna,
what?
but you were gonna say not to work.
No, not at work meetings. Because if I'm gonna be office, nobody cares if the barista is wearing the teddy bears and choo choo trains on their pants. Choo choo.
So
Nobody's
off,
gonna care.
so office jobs, it's not okay. But if a barista was wearing it, then
Office jobs are okay if you're just sitting at the office all day, but in real work meetings, talking about real stuff.
well, if you go to an office
Very
job, you
real.
have real work meetings every day. Like if you're
Wait,
sitting at your desk and you see all your coworkers, it's basically like going to school.
so on your computer?
No, you go and have, even if you are on your computer, you have computer, and then you also have meetings in rooms. Like if you go in, when I go into the office, I have meetings,
Wear it,
with people in person.
wear it on weekends then. I think that's what weekends actually were constructed for.
Okay.
Rockin' PJs.
You can just go out in public in your PJs, and that's
On
fine.
Saturdays and Sundays.
Okay. All right. Okay. Final question. Do you think social media is a good thing or a bad thing?
I'm sorry, but seriously, I don't really know because social media started the first social media event that actually put almost the entire world into shock was this there was an exclusive radio broadcast for a movie coming out, or War of the Worlds to be specific, that aliens were invading the planet and were walking around and eating up humans. No, it was supposed to be a cameo for the event that's gonna happen. It's kind of like the Galactus drone show that happened for the Fantastic Four movie. Now, it was kind of something that was supposed to be like that, but for how highly detailed and realistic, and for also how social media of that kind of radio broadcast, of how new it was and who people didn't know what was real, so many people around the world took it so seriously that they started preparing to fight for themselves if they came around, that if the squid walkers came, or they started going into full panic mode and hiding and getting canned foods.
Oh, you're talking about, yeah, the War of the Worlds broadcast back in the 1940s or whatever.
Yeah, that sent the entire world into panic.
Yeah, yeah, that wasn't, and they didn't really say that it wasn't real, and it kind of like freaked everyone out. There's a lot of that now with AI where they've got to be careful, where you don't know what's real and what's not.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I'm saying. But like, if we didn't have stuff that happened like that almost every single day, of where some people are actually thrown into a full-on blowout event.
Well, so that, I
If
mean,
that doesn't happen to at least one person every day, social media would be good. But if that didn't happen, social media would be good.
well,
But
I was gonna say, I
what were
think
you
you
gonna
bring up a good point with social media. So like Instagram and Facebook, people post photos on there and then they doctor them up, right? AI can doctor them up, or back in the day they used, photo editing to make themselves look skinnier
Photoshop?
or clean up their skin. And then folks, to your point, just like War of the Worlds, they don't know what's real and what's fake.
I've actually used Photoshop. It is so easy to add in hyper realistic alien that either you have drawn or like a sketch or something, or even anything, and just make it look so realistic looking that it can send it to shock. Me, a 10-year-old kid, can make a hyper realistic alien that looks like it's tearing up New York City.
Can. Yeah, so you don't know what's real and what's fake. So with that in mind, do you think it's overall a good thing or a bad thing?
When it's not being used for malicious purposes, yes, like banks can be online and social media can be used. Actually, if you're listening to this, it means that you are on social media.
This is true.
Now, I'm not even saying that this place is a good thing. We probably have made some very bad accuracy of stuff. But how about if you didn't know what E equals MC squared means? Search that up online and you'll find it. Now, social media, you can post about your dog, that's fine. Social media, you can also see how you can defeat a boss in Undertale. Still pretty good game. How you can defeat a boss in Undertale that you've been stuck on for hours at a time.
So what do you think? So you think it can be a good thing, but there's a lot of negatives in it. And so what do you think the minimum age to be on social media should be?
16.
You think 16?
Yeah.
It seems like a reasonable age.
If you're looking up something online, whatever, but even age restrictions like on Webtoon, PlayStation, Roblox, and more, have you put your age so it limits you to stuff.
Yeah, if you're old enough to drive, you're old enough to go on social media. Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's time for us to enjoy the last day of our vacation. I think this was a good episode. With that, I'll have you read us out.
All right.
Today's show was produced by Beckham and Brett. You can find us on YouTube and Spotify. Please subscribe to the show anywhere you listen to podcasts. Reach out with any questions, comments, or potential topics. We will respond. Have a great week.